Good morning. Welcome to this morning's meeting of the Cottage Grove Convention and Visitors Bureau. It is August 26, 2025. We do not have a quorum this morning, so we will not be taking any action on any items. The meeting this morning will be informational only. We will provide feedback as necessary on the informational items, but again, without a quorum, we won't be doing any votes on anything on today's agenda. And the first item of business on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Alexa, will you please do the roll?
Chairman Olson.
Here.
Director Levine.
Here.
Director Gurasula. Director Olson. Director Reese. Director Kambata. Director Hadbit.
Here.
Thank you very much. Normally, we would ask for a motion and a second to vote on adoption of the agenda, but with no quorum this morning, we will not do that. So we'll move on to approval of the minutes. We did have minutes for the 6/3/2025 CVB. Again, we will not vote on these minutes, but was there anything in the minutes that either of the two directors present would like to notify staff about?
No.
No.
Okay, perfect. And it looks like we do have Director Reese here, so that will give us a quorum for today's meeting. Good morning. And since we do have a quorum, I will ask for a motion to approve the 6/3/2025 meeting minutes.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second on the meeting minutes. Any further discussion on those? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good morning, Mr. Reese. Thank you for joining us, and those minutes stand approved. Item 6 is presentations. I don't see any presentations on the agenda this morning. Item 7 is business items, which is going to start with our 2025 Food Truck Festival update, and Jamie is going to take us through that. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. So we are excited. We're getting real close to our 2025 Cottage Grove Food Truck Festival. So I'm here to talk a few details of the event. It is Saturday, September 13th at Kingston Park. The event this year runs from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and we have all sorts of fun things planned in addition to food trucks. So this year, we are limiting our food truck entries to 35 trucks. Currently, we have 27 trucks that you can see on the screen that are confirmed, meaning all of their paperwork is done, their payment is made, we're promoting them on Facebook. I do have 8 additional food trucks that are in some stage of paperwork completion, whether they're waiting on a payment or a piece of paperwork. Once they're complete, we get them added to our Facebook event so we can continue to promote all of the great food trucks we have coming. There's quite a variety this year. The committee took some time to choose a wide range of different types of food for the event this year. We also have sponsors that are helping us pay for some of the aspects of the event. The list you see on your screen is both paid and in-kind sponsors. So like Tennis Sanitation provides dumpsters to us. So we give them the value of the dumpsters as a sponsorship. At this point, we are at $6,500 in sponsorships collected, and we are still working on gaining a few more sponsorships over the next couple weeks before the event. We also have our marketplace coming back for the second year. Our goal was to have 10 to 15 vendors. We currently have 16 that are confirmed, which you can see on your screen. It's kind of, again, a wide range of vendors that will be there selling goods, talking to people. So we're excited to have the marketplace back again this year. And entertainment and other activities. So this year we have Basic and Boring opening the day for us as our band. Revved Up, who was there the first year, is back again this year to perform at the end of the day for us. So we have 2 great bands that will be performing and keeping everybody entertained. We also have a couple bounce houses this year. Strawberry Fest ambassadors will be there providing carnival games for a portion of the event. And new this year, we are doing a photo booth, which it's kind of a rustic backdrop. We'll have some props. You also see we're gonna have a face cutout stand, the image on the left with the pizza and the hot dog. That'll be there for people to take photos and hopefully tag us in their photos of the event. And then in advance of the event, we've been coordinating with the Mississippi River Valley Beyond the Yellow Ribbon group. They are hosting a run, walk, and ruck for heroes in advance of the event. I think it starts at 9 a.m. at Kingston Park. And the run will finish right around the time the Food Truck Festival starts. We're hoping that some of those runners will come and join us at the Food Truck Festival. They are still taking registrations for anybody that wants to run, walk, or ruck. It is a 5K, a 10K, or a 15K that they have available. And you can find information on their Facebook page. And we would like to invite our board to volunteer to work with us at our Discover Cottage Grove booth. Booth hours will be from roughly 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you were sent an email asking if you'd like to help us. Basically, it's talking to people, handing out our swag, answering any questions that people might have. It's a fun event to work if you like people watching. It's a ton of people. Last year, we're estimating we had just over 14,000 people attend. So we're hoping to have more this year. And with that, I would be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you. A lot of planning went into this so far, and really appreciate the hard work and effort of the staff putting this together. It seems like it gets bigger every year. Really looking forward to it this year. Does anyone on the panel have questions for Jamie about the Food Truck Festival? Okay, seeing none, I want to say, first of all, thank you for mentioning the Mississippi River Valley Beyond the Yellow Ribbon event that morning. I'll be there to volunteer for that event, and then I'll also be there to volunteer for us and for the Lions, who are going to be there later in the afternoon. So I really hope the weather's nice, because I'm going to be there for a while. But the walk, run, ruck is a 5K, a 10K, or you can combine the two and do the 15K. And it's a fundraiser for local military families and veterans that Beyond the Yellow Ribbon are serving. And as we get closer to the holiday season, any monies donated or raised during these kinds of fundraisers will go towards the Adopt a Child holiday shopping event that the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon team does in conjunction with the Cottage Grove Lions. So this is a great way to show your support for our veterans and our military families, especially those with deployed soldiers right now. And that starts at 9 o'clock, as you mentioned, at Kingston Park. Should be done right around 11, and like Jamie mentioned, perfect time to just head over and treat yourself to some delicious food and snacks from the food trucks. I would encourage members of the CVB to sign up to help out. It's a busy day. There's a lot going on. So as with anything else volunteer-related, more hands make for lighter work. So if you have the opportunity to even give an hour or two to help support the CVB at the Food Truck Festival, I think that would be greatly appreciated. Jamie, did you have anything else for us?
No.
All right. Any other questions? Director Reese.
Can I just ask, what kind of promotion are we doing outside of, I assume we're doing social media promotion, but is there additional promotion? And is there something that is kind of packaged that we can do?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, members of the board. We are doing some paid social media advertising to promote the event. We obviously have an event page on Facebook, which has thousands of likes. I'm not exactly sure of the current number, but we're continuing to post in the event, share it on Facebook through the Discover Cottage Grove page and the city's Facebook page. It goes in the Cottage Grove reports, which goes out to all the households and businesses in Cottage Grove. So while we know Cottage Grove comes to the event, we also push to promote to a larger audience as well.
Okay. Is there something that, other than going through and doing reposts and stuff, that can be packaged that the board and the council and whatever could push out through their own channels?
We could look at putting something together for that, sure.
Okay. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right there on the front page of my Cottage Grove reports when I got it, so I liked seeing that. That was great, and I know we have done social media. I am curious, to sort of build on that question, with all the various social media outlets that we have now, we've got Facebook, we've got Blue Sky, we've got all these other ones. Are we utilizing all of those formats? Are either of you able to let us know? Some people get a little picky about where they absorb their social media information, so I'm just wondering if we've kind of taken the approach of hitting everything.
Chair Olson, members of the board, really good questions. And for 2025, when it comes to, say, Blue Sky, for instance, that has largely been, we'll call it a test balloon for the city of Cottage Grove's kind of main social media presence, not necessarily Discover Cottage Grove, because in an effort to meet residents where they are at per the city's overall strategic plan, we were finding that engagement and views and activity of any kind outside of Facebook was really scant. And we were kicking around, well, are our residents no longer on a certain platform? Are they on maybe a different platform? Well, Blue Sky was gaining a ton of popularity at the time. I'm not sure if that popularity has plateaued since then. This was, 6-9 months ago. And so we decided to opt to test that platform out to see if our residents are there. That, again, is activity mainly geared towards City of Cottage Grove communications, not necessarily Discover Cottage Grove. Having said that, most of our engagement, most of our views on all pages, our main city page, public safety page, Discover Cottage Grove, really do primarily come from Facebook. That is definitely where our residents and viewers and engagers are at least at the moment. So our online paid social media advertising is mostly focused around Facebook, given that fact. I will also add, finally, that we did kick around the idea of doing some other types of advertising, say radio ads, and we reached out to gain some insight around pricing, availability, what might that look like. I don't know if that's something that has been done in the past, but we just wanted to get some research and figure out if that's something that would be viable. Not exactly sure why, but we did not actually get a response to that inquiry, which was a little disappointing because we are potentially paid, customers. So doesn't mean we can't continue to explore, other opportunities, billboards, radio ads, TV ads, but to date, we're primarily focusing on that Facebook social media advertising and seeing some really encouraging results in terms of link traffic back to our website.
And of course, you and I had the opportunity last week to do our promotional video as part of the council update process, so.
Correct? And that's coming out this week.
Yeah, that should be out this week. So True Lens was there to film Phil and I for the normal council update video, and we focused on Food Truck Festival and Walk, Run, Ruck. So hopefully, that'll come out, and they found a way to make me look much skinnier on camera. That would be good. And then we'll share that profusely as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further on Food Truck Festival? Good questions, thank you. Moving on to item 2 under business items, the 2025 Q2 lodging tax collection, and this is Phil.
Yes, well, morning again, Chair Olson, members of the board. So this morning, we're here to talk about Q2 lodging tax and revenue collections. So as you see before you, I won't exactly bore you by reading all of the numbers, but for 2025, Q2 lodging tax collections and other revenue, which does include some revenue from the Food Truck Festival, we're sitting at $30,949. That is 4.7% higher than the 2025 Q2 budgeted revenue, which is largely caused by the Food Truck Festival itself. So registrations, vendors, sponsors. As you all know, the Food Truck Festival is a very successful event, financially, attendance-wise, and so happy to see those numbers coming in at a decent clip there. With that, that's all that I have for Q2 lodging tax and revenue collections, but I will happily stand for questions.
Any questions for Phil on the budget, on the revenue capture? Phil, can you just clarify Q1, Q2 What are the time frames for each of those? Are we running the standard calendar, January, February, March for Q1, April, May, June for Q2?
Chair Olson, members of the board, that's correct. Yes.
So then it might be fair to say, tell me if I'm wrong, Q3, we will also see revenue from the Food Truck Festival because, of course, June is a little further away from September. So as more of these vendors look at the opportunity and decide they want to come forward, in addition to sponsorships, et cetera, we should see some other revenue. And I'm not sure if you're going to know the answer to this question. Maybe Jamie would, but I'm curious how our sponsorship revenue is comping to last year. Does anybody have that answer? I know it's a bit of a curveball, I'm sorry.
That's right, Chairman, members of the board. Last year in sponsorships, we had right around $9,000 in sponsorships. We did budget for about $8,000 this year, not knowing if the trend would continue. So we are about $1,500 away from our budgeted goal for sponsorships this year.
Okay, and we're still obviously soliciting for additional sponsorships should opportunities arise, correct?
That's
I know
correct.
last year we had a lot of excitement around the Food Truck Festival with the puzzle release and things too, and this year, that's not part of the equation, but still seems pretty healthy. Thank you. All right, if there are no further questions on the lodging tax collection, I'm going to move forward to the 2026 preliminary budget approval, and I believe Phil is going to take us through this as well.
That is correct. Chair Olson, members of the board, so the 2026 preliminary budget, as you all know, budget season is here in full swing. And so we are here to discuss the CVB's 2026 preliminary budget. You have the full 2026 preliminary budget worksheet in front of you and in the packet. So I will not bore you with reading that entire spreadsheet. I would happily do so, but I'm sure you have more interesting and better things to do. At any rate, lodging tax projections for 2026, in similar to other years, we base that on a 63% occupancy rate, which gets us in at around $72,300 a year for lodging tax projections. Visitor guide ad sales come in at $4,500. As we just discussed, the Food Truck Festival, a pretty big premier event for Cottage Grove and the CVB at $23,000 in total revenue projected. And then you've heard me discuss before, but new this year is the Explore Minnesota Tourism Grant. That is a program that has been, that the city has been successful with in the past. For reasons unknown to me, it went away, I think, about a year ago, and then they brought it back for cities running a Convention and Visitors Bureau. So we were successful in getting a $2,000 Explore Minnesota Tourism Grant, which we will use towards, speaking of advertising for the Food Truck Festival and other outdoor food-related events like the Food Truck Fest, One Family Festival. We'll be using that towards online advertising from that grant. Also, similar to other years, we have our expenses broken out in essentially marketing expenses, operating expenses, and other. Again, won't bore you by reading all of the numbers and all of the line items. Many of them are most likely familiar to you, and a lot of the numbers largely unchanged from previous years, with the exception of a couple things. Again, we've got that something that I've mentioned before, which is the Deckard Technologies Rentalscape software. That is a piece of software that helps us scan and find short-term rentals in the city of Cottage Grove, making sure that they are operating properly, licensed properly, and that is a shared expense between the CVB and community development. And our marketing and operating expenses come in at a total of $56,135 for marketing and $49,796.25 for operating expenses. The 2026 preliminary budget, total revenue projections come in at $101,800. Expenses come in at $105,931.25, which, if your quick math shows you, is about a $4,131.25 loss. A note on that, as we would do any year, we will keep very close tracking on our expenses to zero that out and cut costs where we can. This last year, for instance, We saved a fair amount of money on visitor guide printing due to a much shorter and more streamlined visitor guide. Also, that $4,131.25 could be made up with remaining fund balance. As again, we spend a little less money, trim things where we can, streamline things where we can, and use remaining dollars or expenditure savings to make up that cost. With that, there's a motion in front of you, and I will be happy to stand for any questions or comments.
Thank you, Phil. Any questions from the board on the 2026 preliminary budget? Nothing? Okay. I do have a couple for you, Phil. One of the things that obviously plays into this budget, and it's a pretty important thing, is your revenue capture. And that revenue capture comes from the lodging tax. I know that the EDA and the staff have been working closely together to hopefully come to some agreement with a hotel chain, a hotelier, to put another hotel in town. I'm wondering if anybody may have an update on how that process is going, whether that's you or Jamie or the administrator.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, in regards to the RFP that we put out for the hotel, the deadline is the end of August. So we put out a reminder last week to all of the holders of our RFP, our proposal, waiting for those responses to come back in. We are continuing the remediation efforts on the property that we're looking to acquire. We completed a phase 1. We have now moved into a phase 2 with some soil sampling to take place. There had been a potential fueling station at the one corner of the property way back in the day. Mrs. Ross can remember pumping gas with her grandfather out on East Point Douglas. So something that we need to track down and work on. And then in regards to the infrastructure that would be needed to support that, we've started the preliminary design work for that effort. And if you'll recall, we have a grant from the federal government for about $3 million. Our intent is that we would build $3 million worth of the infrastructure next year and capture those dollars to really prime that site for development. So we will keep our fingers crossed in the coming days here as we seek to find someone to submit a proposal for that property.
Thank you. Any responses to the RFP at this point?
No one is formally submitted yet.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we still have a few days, so thank you for the update. I'm glad we sent out a reminder on that. Any other questions from the board? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve the 2026 Cottage Grove Convention and Visitors Bureau preliminary budget.
So moved.
We have a motion by Director Reese,
I'll second.
second by Director Levine. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Awesome, that motion carries, thank you. And then moving forward to item number 4, and I think this is Phil again, CVB website redesign.
Yes, Chairman Olson, members of the board. The website, as you recall, back on, I believe, June 3rd, 2025, we were discussing the Discover Cottage Grove website as part of one of the recommendations coming out of the CVB strategic plan from Chandler Thinks. One of those key recommendations was the website itself. Now, there are some things that we have done and will continue to do to update the website regardless of how we move forward. Things like improving SEO and, updating images, making sure content's correct, so on and so forth. Having said that, the website overall is, I believe, several years old at this point. And as we discussed on June 3rd of 2025, are we ready for a potential redesign of the website, a refresh, as they are wont to do every few years or so? The board did express, we presented a few options regarding the website, kind of a keep things as is, host it on a new platform, option number 2, or option number 3, a full redesign. The board did express interest in a redesign of the website. At the time that we were discussing that potential, we estimated that the website redesign cost would come in at around $7,000 to $12,000, which is what we discussed on June 3rd. Given the board's interest in redesigning the website, we did pursue a couple quotes from local vendors, Anselman Innovations and Dapper Dog Marketing. With that, the two quotes that you see in front of you, Anselman Innovations came in at $11,000 for the website redesign. Dapper Dog Marketing came in at $7,150 for the website redesign. So while I'm happy to report that both of those quotes came kind of right smack dab in the middle of what we thought it might cost for the website, it is still very much on your plate, so to speak, to kind of give us guidance as to what we'd like to do with the website. If approved, the redesign could be pulled from, as we discussed on June 3rd, from savings from the printing of the visitor guide, unspent social media advertising dollars, and so forth. So with that, there is a motion before you, but I would be happy to stand for any questions.
I have one. What are the differences between the two? You have one at 11,000. You have one at 7,150. It looks like from Dapper Dog. What are the two differences between the two quotes, if you wouldn't mind?
Chair Olson, Director Hatfett, I think a couple things. The two quotes, both full quotes are in the packet that you have in front of you if you wished to kind of go through. And I think the other thing is they are taking two different approaches in terms of, how do I want to phrase this, the website hosting service. So one thing that we came in exploring pretty seriously was a DCG website hosted on the Wix platform. That is the platform that quote number one utilized to develop their proposal. And then besides, what you would expect work to be done on the website redesign, I think that particular quote comes in as a result of, whatever time and cost calculations they are doing to provide that website redesign. Quote number two is not using the Wix platform, which is not something we expected to be interested in, not for good, bad, or otherwise. That's just, we'd heard really good things about Wix, and I think it probably is still a very great platform. But Dapper Dog Marketing provides, I think, some important feedback about that platform or any other platform for that matter. And, regardless, we were very happy with the information that we were provided from Dapper Dog and Anselman Innovations. But I don't want to speak too specifically about how they came up with their numbers because they're vendors and they cost calculate and so on. Sure.
Any follow-ups on that?
No.
Questions, Director Reese?
Based on what you did get back from the two vendors, I mean, kind of what was your feeling as far as what you're going to be getting from services? I saw but you met with them and talked to them. What was your kind of feeling as far as services? Was there a big difference in service and ability? Not thinking about price, but what they were going to do, and was there a big difference between the two?
Yes, Chair Olson, Director Reese, and other directors. A good question. I think at the end of the day, we walked away from both of those conversations feeling extremely confident in either vendor. They have different approaches, different styles, which again is not good, bad, or indifferent. They're different people, they're different vendors, so of course they do. But either way, quote number one, quote number two, I think we would end up with, I know that we would end up with a very nice, very solid, newly designed website. And so I would not have any misgivings or concerns about either vendor. Again, I think with quote number two, a couple things being the low quote, which is important to consider for obvious reasons, but also I don't have any concerns, and while I won't speak for staff, I think we all agreed that the low quote doesn't mean the bad quote, quote unquote, right? So we definitely had very strong feelings about Dapper Dog's skills and abilities to give us a really good website. And beyond that, you want a website that looks and functions very well, that is the product you're purchasing, but also you need good customer service. And in terms of references, in terms of, as you're interviewing somebody, which is essentially what that is, they both performed very, very well.
Any follow-up on that? Okay.
I'll add really quick. I'm not familiar with the quote number 1, but I will add with Dapper Dog. They are chamber members, and Tara is just crazy talented. So I'm really excited that she was one of the companies that you took a look at, and I think that, like you said, with either company, we'd probably be really excited and happy with them. But going with Dapper Dog is just, she's local here, she's really invested in the community, has worked with several other, lots of other businesses and cities around the area, so excited to see that.
Well, that's a nice testimonial, and it sounds like the staff did some homework in terms of references, et cetera, which I certainly appreciate. And if all of those came back as well as the reference that we just heard, that's a pretty positive sign. Are there any other questions for staff on this topic? If not, then I will be looking for a motion to approve the service agreement subject to minor modifications by the city attorney with Dapper Dog Marketing to redesign the Discover Cottage Grove website for an amount of $7,150.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Levine. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Director Havvet. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Phil, you're off the hot seat now. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Item 8 on our agenda today is a workshop. We do not have a workshop. Item 9 is comments from the board. Are there any comments or questions for staff from the board members? Okay, then we'll move right on to item 10, which would be adjournment. I'm seeking a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Okay, we have a motion by Director Hotvet. Did I hear a second? All right, Director Reese. Any further discussion? You guys want to hang around a while and just see what's going on? No? Okay, all in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries and we are adjourned. Thank you all for joining us this morning.